Ladies and gentlemen, this is DEA with your hosts, Adele Lara, Dylan Police, and Anthony Fazio. And this week, we're talking fantasy football as we talk about Mark Ingram, 21 carries, 131 yards for 3 touchdowns and 31 points.
We're going to move on to the top performer of the week at QB. It was Cam Newton on Monday night. He threw for 254 yards. He had 4 touchdowns, and he also got some points on the ground. He had 5 rushes for 95 yards for a total of, 48 points against the Dolphins on Monday night.
And the top receiver for the week is Robert Woods from Los Angeles Rams. He had 8 receptions, 171 yards, and 2 total touchdowns. He actually called a 97-yard touchdown? I think it was.
It was it was a long one.
Yeah, it was like late in the third to put the Rams over the top to win the game.
Great catch.
Rams are getting scary for the NFC. Moving on to the cut of the week. Personally, I'm cutting Willie Snead just because it's been 4 or 5 weeks since he's gotten any kind of points whatsoever, and I think 2 weeks ago he actually got negative points, however that's possible. But he's getting less and less snaps for the Saints, and it looks like the Saints are doing well without him, so they're not going to implement him, change anything up. They're going to keep doing what they're doing. So I think it's time to part ways with Willie Snead.
So for my cut of the week, I'm going to have to cut the Jets running back Bilal Powell. He was a starting back last week, and he only had 30 rushing yards and 3 points on 10 rushes. So, I mean, even with Matt Forte not being in the lineup this week, he still didn't put any points up for my team at all, so he's going to be my cut for the week.
Yeah, you also got Elijah McGuire coming up in the Jets backfield. He's a young guy. He's getting more work week in and week out, and that's another guy you might want to pick up just as a side note, but that's another reason that Bilal Powell probably should be off your roster.
Yeah, my cut for the week is on Darren McFadden. I expected big things out of him, coming that Ezekiel Elliott suspended 6 games. However, they barely gave him the ball as they demoted him to back number 3, and Alfred Morris has been getting the workload, so I think it's time to say bye to Darren McFadden.
So moving on to waiver wire pickups of the week. Mine personally is going to be Danny Woodhead. I drafted him early, and I drafted him last year too when he got hurt. And he ended up getting hurt this year again, and I cut him for a few weeks, and now he's finally he had a bye week last week, and he's supposed to be coming off IR this week. I'm picking him up. I'm expecting a lot of big things out of him. The Ravens should implement him into their system big time because he was doing a lot in the first 2 weeks of the season.
He's a good PPR back too.
Yeah, he's going to catch a lot of balls.
My pickup for the week is Danny Amendola, wide receiver for the Patriots. With Chris Hogan with shoulder injury and Julian Edelman turns ACL in preseason, Amendola really filled that number 2 spot behind Brandon Cooks. Cooks is still Tom Brady's favorite receiver, but Amendola gets a lot of the slot work and the receiver too, so he's really good for PPR with a lot of catches and maybe even a couple touchdowns in a week. So my pickup for the week is Danny Amendola.
My pickup for the week, coming out of nowhere for the Minnesota Vikings, is Case Keenum, as he threw for 4 touchdowns and 301 yards. This is very unexpected coming from Case Keenum, but hopefully for the Vikings, this continues.
We better keep it up, or Bridgewater's coming back and taking that spot.
Yeah, Bridgewater was active last week.
Yep.
In tears.
Tears of joy.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to sleepers. My sleeper is going to be the Patriots back, Dion Lewis. His role is growing. He's on special teams. He's returning punts, whatnot. He's kind of filling in that Mike Gillislee role. He's getting a lot of the goal line carries now that Gillislee is kind of out of the equation. He's going to be more of a touchdown or bust kind of guy, but against Oakland's defense, which they let up a lot of passes to or let up a lot of runs to their teams, I'm expecting at least like 10, 15 points out of Dion Lewis. I think he'll score, and he should pop off a few good runs.
My sleeper for the week is the running back Jamal Adams from the Green Bay Packers, because Adam Jones went down early with an injury, and so did Ty Montgomery, also got hurt again. So I think Jamal Adams is going to fill, the role pretty good, especially with no quarterback at Green Bay. They're going to have a lot of run-heavy stuff, and Jamal Adams is the nice young kid that can get that done for the team.
For Green Bay Packers, hopefully this turns out good for them.
I did see one pass by Brett Hundley that was an absolute dime. He put it right into I forget who it was, but it was right on the sideline, and it was an absolute dime in the rain, in the cold, in Green Bay. He's something special.
Yeah, but Hundley is not helping them win at all. And we all know the Vikings win that division.
He's still young, and he's still got some time to work.
Hopefully for me,
he's got a lot of potential from what I can see.
Something good comes out of this. Maybe Aaron Rodgers gives him a pep talk, and maybe he's the next MVP. Who knows?
We'll see.
But my sleeper for the week is Tevin Coleman, as Devonta Freeman has to go through concussion protocol. So next back up, and he's going to be a really good running back for this week, and maybe he's going to put up maybe like 22 points, knowing that Falcons offense.
Yeah, Freeman got knocked out pretty early, and Coleman stepped right up, next man up kind of mentality, and he did really well for them. All right, so now we're going to move on to our lineups for the week. My lineup personally, I'm going with QB1, Carson Wentz, of course, Melvin Gordon and Kareem Hunt at running back. And then at wide receiver, I got a new addition. I traded away Gronk and Kelvin Benjamin for DeAndre Hopkins. So at wide receiver, I got A.J. Green and DeAndre Hopkins. At tight end, Evan Ingram is filling that slot for Gronk, which is it's not much of a difference, to be honest. He's putting up 15 points consistently in that horrible, horrible Giants offense. At flex, I have another great pickup, Juju Smith. He's just been killing it lately. He's having a lot of fun doing it too. At defense, right now I'm starting the Texans D, and then at kicker I got Ryan Suckup.
For my starting lineup this week, I have Alex Smith starting. He had a bye week last week. Hopefully, he has come back on a good week. I got Todd Gurley. He's just probably the best consistent back in the league. DeMarco had a strong 29-point game last week. Then I have at the wide receivers, I have Antonio Brown that had an upsetting game against the Indianapolis Colts, with only like 3 catches. And I have Adam Thielen come off a big 30-point game. And for now, I have Jordan Reed at the flex, but he has a hamstring issue, so we'll see if he plays Saturday. And in the flex, I got Danny Amendola. The defense, I got the Ravens, and my kicker is Kai Forbath.
Adam Thielen's really
I was about to say, Thielen's really having a great year.
All right, time for my lineup. At quarterback, we have the sleeper for the week, as in Case Keenum. Case Keenum. Running back for this week, Le'Veon Bell, Adrian Peterson, that had a very disappointing week last week. However, he's got to bounce back, and I think this week's the time to do it. And at wide receiver, I had Will Fuller, the 5th. That's questionable. However, if he is healthy, he's a no-doubt starter. Des Bryant at wide receiver number 2, and tight end Zach Ertz. However, if he is questionable for this week, we have Austin Hooper, which is the next man up, that had a fantastic game last week. At flex, we had Jared McKinnon, which also had a very bad performance last week, but throughout the season, he's been killing it, and every player now and then has a bad week, and he's going to bounce right back.
The only thing I would be a little worried about with your lineup is probably the Des Bryant pick. Just because it's obviously a must-start because it's Des Bryant, but against Philly, I think obviously the rivalry's there, so the game's going to mean a lot more than just a game. Our secondary is looking pretty good, and he's really the only threat that the Cowboys have at this point.
And with no Zeke, it really ruins the run game.
Yeah, there's no threat.
They probably won't develop a run game at all, which making it easier to cover Dez and double coverages and expecting pass more often than you think.
I do understand that. Jalen Mills, he's been killing it. I gotta give him props.
Green Goblin.
However, Des Bryant with that frame 6'5", he's got to do something.
Of course, it's still a must start. It's going to come down to how the game ends up playing out. It's not going to be Des Bryant or by himself. It's going to end up depending on the team.
For Mike's sakes, hopefully it is. At defense, I have the Jacksonville defense that's number 1 in the league. And at kicker, I have the number 1 kicker in the league when it comes to points and fantasy. Greg the Leg Zerline. So that concludes this week's episode of DEA. I hope you have a great evening. Thanks for listening.